Hello, welcome to Dungeons Bros podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing the Kaimetsu no Yaiba movie, Mugen Train, also known as Demon Slayer in the West. Came out last year, and it's like 2 hours long, but it got dubbed recently and released recently. So it's directed by Haruo Sotozaki, and people estimate the budget was like 15.8 million, made like 500 million box office, U.S. apparently. So I guess this saw its theatrical release. So I gotta say though, it's been like a few years since I saw like the Demon Slayer anime. Like I watched like all 25 or 26 episodes. And man, I was waiting a long time to watch this movie. I actually partially saw it like a year ago, like around Christmas time. Some Chinese guy, uploaded like a subtitled version on BitChute, but it was like it was impossible. It wasn't impossible to watch, but it was like the subtitles. Apparently, in China, they changed like all the characters' names to the Chinese sounding names, and they called their swords like sabers or some shit, and it was like, yeah, I can't, or knives. No, it was like the subtitles were like they were calling their swords knives and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Right? So yeah, but like I feel like I honestly I wasn't going to review this because like it's been so long since I watched the show that I kind of forgot some of the story because like literally I had binge watched it in like a week or so. Like somebody it was on YouTube. Somebody made a playlist. And it was probably taken down like soon after. It's on Netflix now if you want to watch the show, and like you can rent this movie on YouTube. So like I watched it and I enjoyed it. I kind of like the fact that sorry, I kind of like the fact that they didn't do what these anime films usually do when they're based off properties, where it's just a spin-off. It's not even like canon. Like they took for this movie, they took like an arc from the manga and made it into a film, which is great. Though it has it's great, but at the same time, it's like if you don't watch the movie, if you don't know, hey, you're supposed to watch this movie after season one, you might feel a bit lost because they did some shit in this anime film. I'm not gonna lie. Which what happens in the anime film is our characters team Tony what's his name? Fuck. Oh, I forgot the character's name. Was it Tony Jiro or something? Oh my god. Sorry, I forgot the. There's like I just forgot the cast. So I gotta let's look it up. I know. The thing is, Senetsu's like my favorite character. He's like the most annoying one. We're they're not showing me the main characters. I know it's like Tanjiro. Okay, Tanjiro and his friends Onizuka and Zenetsu are all demon slayers. They go around killing demons, and the only way to kill these demons are to cut off their heads. And they're kind of like vampires in the sense that they can only be out at night, and they'll be destroyed in the sun. So they're boarding this train with a Hashira called Rengoku, who's the Flame Hashira, and they're basically like the squad captains from Bleach, if you've ever seen Bleach, or they're the elite demon slayers, and they're all named after like an element, which how the fighting works in this anime. People have like these special swords, and they have these breathing techniques that are based off the different elements that they can use that will give them like kind of like superhuman powers and speed and shit speed like and shit like that, right? Right. And our main character is like efficient in like the water style, and he got like a power up recently where he has this special breathing technique that his father taught him that he can use in combat, which allows him to keep fighting with, without running out of stamina. It's called the fire breathing technique, and he can shoot like flames out of swords. Which whenever they use their special attacks, right? It looks really cool. Which the other characters' specialties are Inosuke, who is the boy who was raised by boars, with the girly face who always hides it in a boar mask. He has like a savage fighting style. He uses the beast breathing technique, where he just basically like uses two swords to basically like hack at enemies. Which it's funny, he got like these new fancy swords in the anime, and then they're like, huh, these look lame. Let me fix them. And then this fucking fucking cracks them, cracks both blades. And like the guy who gave it to the blacksmith wanted to kill him. And you have Zenitsu, who's like the coward in the group. He uses the lightning or thunder style, but he only knows the one technique, and he can only use it when he's sleeping. He can only fight when he's asleep because he's too much of a coward to fight when he's awake. And like, if you haven't seen I watched the English stuff, but if you, I recommend watching the Japanese sub version just for him because his voice acting in the anime is so fucking, in the Japanese version, is so hilarious. And he has a crush on Tanjiro's like sister, Misuko, who is a demon that they keep locked in a box. But his brother has her trained so she doesn't attack humans. Right, so they board this train to help Rengoku find out, okay, who's killing people on this train. And then the show takes place during like 18th century, like 18th or 19th century Japan. So our characters are all new to trains. Like, seeing their reactions to the train was really cool. The one guy wants to fight the train, which is ironic red herring later on in the film, right? When the certain reveals are revealed. But I'm not gonna spoil it right now. So like, yeah, what happens is they get our characters go on there to fight, look for a demon. They find a demon right away and kill it, and they kind of let their guard down, and they get put under a spell because the real demon who's responsible for killing people, right? It has human collaborators that are helping them because he can promise them, but they're all people who have lost family, and he has the powers to give people very realistic dreams, like almost Matrix realistic, right? And like he uses not conductor. Who do you call the guy on the train who punches punch holes in the tickets? I can't remember. But yeah, he uses him and a bunch of orphans to try to kill our main characters. They get put in these like, they all get put to sleep, and you see like our characters having dreams where they're happy, right? Tanjiro is reignited with his dead family members, his mother, and like his younger siblings that didn't survive the demon attack in like the first episode. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the original show. And like our other characters, it doesn't really matter what they're dreaming about. Like one dude, like Zenitsu, is dreaming about like running through a field with Nisuko, I think her name. I just said it earlier, but it's like I had to think about how to pronounce it. And then you got to see Inosuke's dream where like where he's like the leader, and they're all wearing all the other characters are wearing like animal like outfits and shit, and which was funny because like you had like the Netsu was like a rat, Mexico was a bunny girl, and Tanjiro was like a raccoon or something. I can't remember. Which that was funny. They all break through the dreams, right? And it turns out that Tanjiro goes to fight the demon, who's one of the henchmen of the main villain of this series. I forget his name, but he's like people call him Michael Jackson because he looks like Michael Jackson. I forget the guy's name, the demon's name. Sorry, the enemy, right? And like yeah, he has this thing where he has like this like top 10 demon elite or whatever. I think in like Tanjiro killed the lowest ranked one in like the finale, like not finale, but like close to the finale of the first season, right? And yeah, it turns out like yeah, he's actually possessing the train, so they have to find his real body in the train, right? And that's when get to see all of our characters get to fight, and Tanjiro gets injured, and then after they defeat the Mugen Train, another demon shows up who's a hand-to-hand expert and challenges Goku to a fight, and it was a pretty cool fight. And like the movie ends, right? So I want to talk about spoilers, but like I'm gonna give a rating first. I gotta say it's like I enjoyed the film. I'm not a huge fan of the art style of the anime, to be honest. And they did telegraph a few things. Like it was pretty obvious the ending for this movie because the way they kept building up certain characters and giving their backstory. Like they even give Rengoku's backstory, and it became obvious. Okay, one of these characters are gonna die. I don't want to say yet till the spoiler section, but yeah. So if I were to give this movie a rating, I gotta say it's despite the arts, I'm not a huge fan of the art style. I think this anime film is great, and I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of like we have this popular manga that is not like most popular manga for shonen. Like if you look throughout like the last couple decades, have always been like not I wouldn't say copies, but like or ripoffs, but obviously inspired by the popular manga of the previous generation, right? Obviously, Bleach was inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho. Naruto slightly inspired by Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter. Like even like Toriko was obviously inspired by like One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, and like there's this huge problem where like there's this cannibalism in the Shonen Jump, like the Shonen Jump like genre, where it's like you're just getting copies of like not copies, but like 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 they just like steal ideas and whatever. Like they kind of rip off the previous generations, including like Black Clover, which I gave a shot, which is just like which is more of a fucking ripoff of Naruto than like even Boruto. Black Clover follows the Naruto storyline closer than the fucking Boruto, and that's like a direct sequel. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. Black Clover. If you can't see that Black Clover is an obvious ripoff of Naruto, you're a fucking idiot, and there's no point talking to you. For fuck's sakes. And I like Black Clover at first, man, but there's no like originality to the powers, and it's like that was one of the reasons why I stopped reading Black Clover. Though I kind of like the Bleach. They also incorporate Bleach elements, which I kind of like, but it was like whatever, right? So like what I'm saying, what I like about Demon Slayer is I can't think of one thing one manga that it's that it's basically like a ripoff of. I mean, there is the Bleach elements with the Hashiramas, but other than that, the not there isn't really. It's not. I wouldn't call it like a Bleach ripoff. It's original enough, right? Maybe you can argue it has elements of Bleach and Naruto a little bit, kind of like Black Clover, but it feels more original, especially with the setting and the characters, and the fact that they use breathing like their fighting style is based off breathing techniques, kind of like in like the original JoJo in part 1 and part 2, where you have Hamon, where like actually you can argue that that this anime that it kind of inspired by part 1 and 2 of JoJo, where like you have like our characters are fighting like vampires, which the demons are very much like the vampires in JoJo, and the Hamon is like a martial art breathing / technique that is made to fight vampires. You can argue that, but I don't know. Honestly, it feels like the show feels original, right? And that's the greatest thing about it. When, especially during these times where you have the cannibalism, a huge cannibalism problem, which is like a metaphor for like ripping off like other mangas and just changing shit enough so you can put it out there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna get into spoilers. So yeah, they killed off Rengoku, the Flame Hashirama, which they did telegraph, kinda, especially when you had the leader of the Demon Slayers walking through a graveyard and like spouting out the names, and then like you have the whole thing where like Rengoku was like acting like a big brother figure to the other characters, right? And then you have his tragic backstory, which he has a younger brother who also wanted to become a Demon Slayer. So he might be a new character who joins the team. I haven't read the manga, so I don't know, right? Because it's the thing where if I watch the anime first, usually I'll just say fuck it and I'll stick to the anime, right? Yeah. So like, that fight was pretty intense, though. It was like, kind of did not make a lot of sense that basically what happened, he couldn't defeat the guy he was fighting. He was apparently the top 3 of the henchmen of the main baddie of the show, who, because like he would sacrifice his arms to defend his head, and then he would like regenerate instantly, right, faster than like Rengoku can kill him before he can take his head, right? And he does this move where like he lets himself. I don't think he lets himself, but like he gets run through with by the enemy, and then he grabs the one dude's arm and like somehow uses his. There's like a flashback where his mother where she talks about how he was born with like super strength and whatever, and like he should, the strong exist to protect the weak. So this motivates him to, like, despite the fact that he's practically dead standing up, he uses his super strength to keep the guy immobile so he can try to cut up his head, and like he gets his blade stuck in the guy's neck, but and somehow uses the muscles around his torso, right, to keep the guy's arm inside him, so the guy couldn't yank the fucking arm out. So that to me felt like kind of bullshit. Like, oh, let's just tell everybody that this character has super strength, so we can right before his death scene, so we can explain how he's doing this like bullshit fucking thing, man. Which, if you had super strength, it probably would have been better if you fought him barehanded, immobilize him and have some of the other characters who could still fight, like Senetsu and Inosuke, because like Tanjiro was with uh, injured with a stomach wound, and have them cut their head. Like you just like you use like fucking like Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever, which they have they kind of had that in Japan with Aikido and Judo and shit. But yeah, he tries to hold the dude still while trying to cut his head, and our other characters rush in to try to finish him off. And the sun itself is rising too. Like it's almost dawn. So somehow the demon rips both his arms off, and then runs away, right? While our characters chase him, but they don't chase him too far. And Rengoku, the Flame Hashira, gives one last bit of advice to our characters who asked him about the fire breathing technique, and he was like, "I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it." Which I'm pretty sure somebody asked, he commented on it in one of the last episodes of season 1, and he said, "I've never heard of this fucking thing." And he told the Tanjiro to go see his teacher. Maybe his teacher knows something about the fire breathing technique, to tell his father and his brother, hey, that how he died, and blah, blah, that he wasn't scared to die and shit like that. Well, he didn't say that, but you know what I mean, man. He was like, tell my brother and father I love them. Goodbye, and he died. So yeah, I kind of saw it coming, but it was like, wow, we were just introduced to this really cool guy character, and we only got to see him fight once, and well, by once I mean in one movie, right? And he died, so which is kind of similar to that one dude in Black Clover, the Vermilion Flame Lion guy. I can't remember his name. He was one of the captains. He used fire magic, but yeah, he got his arm cut off, and I don't know if he's still captain. Yeah, so that kind of reminded me of that. But other than that, I thought it was a great fight, and it basically exists to show how fucking powerful the top three henchmen of the main villain is, right? But it kind of sucked that our main character was able to kill one of them, and we've yet to see the elite captains, or whatever they're called, the Hashiras, fight these guys. And the first time one of them ever encountered one, he dies, and I don't know if Rengoku was supposed to be one of the tough, stronger ones, but it hit the rest of the. You see the news fly around about Rengoku dying. Even the crow who goes to report the news to everybody, you see him shed a tear in the sky. It was like, what the fuck? Was he a pet or something of his? Like, what the fuck? Oh man, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I thought I enjoyed the movie, the ending, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that crow crying that the dude died was a little come on. That was a bit over the top, even for anime, right? But other than that, yeah, I enjoyed the movie, and I can't wait for season 2 to come out, which hopefully it comes out on Netflix. But yeah, because the first season's on Netflix, so yeah, I don't really have anything to say about the other than that. Oh, I did see the recent episode which was episode 3 of Loki. It sucked. No shocker there. Loki comes off really dumb. The fight scenes suck as usual. And yeah. Also, I saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Not as good as some people were saying it was, which wasn't a lot of people, but it was alright. the I thought the fucking dinosaur, like the main dinosaur baddie in the movie, was kind of a step down from the Indominus Rex from the first film, because it was basically just a large raptor. Like, come on, man, we couldn't get you know, as dumb as that humanoid T-Rex or whatever that was the concept for like the first film. I would honestly rather see that, and I think they're kind of hinting at it with the genetically engineered dinosaurs that they introduced in the first and second film. But yeah, fuck it, let's have the human dinosaur hybrids in one of these movies, man. All right, guys, that's all I gotta say. Peace.